Welcome all to Gunning to Old Trafford with your hosts, Ibi and Shady. And we have, wow, I've been so excited. A real honor to have this guest on our show. But I'm going to pass it on to Ibrahim. And Ibrahim, please let us know who we have on. I'm so excited.
Thanks, Shady. Really appreciate it. Always a pleasure doing the show with you, and super excited. Our guest today, we on a WhatsApp group talking about Manchester United.
Awesome.
So it was amazing to have him on, and what an honor to have him. So we've got a special guest all the way from Cape Town, the mother city, Gasant Abarder, who's a marketing and media professional. He is a avid Manchester United fan and a massive kit collector. Abdul, if you thought I had a lot of kits,
Wow.
when I saw Hassan's collection, I got
Are
a
you
bit.
serious?
I got.
Hey, Gassan, look which one he pulled out today. The Kentona one. You know, this is a beautiful.
Oh,
what
sorry.
year was it? Okay, there. Look at that.
It's the black.
That's an amazing kit.
The beautiful one.
That's the Kung Fu kit.
The Kung Fu kit.
Kung Fu kit.
Exactly. So welcome to Guuning to Old Trafford, Gasant. Honored to have you on, and looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Perfect. So guys, today, now that we have Gasant on, obviously, we're going to talk through his all-time Manchester United 11. And, being an avid Manchester United fan, I'm hoping for some surprises, not any of the normal picks. But I think it will be a miss from me if I don't get into a really tough topic around Manchester United. And that's the Glazer ownership and the struggles of Manchester United since, and I would say even before Sir Alex Ferguson left, Sir Alex Ferguson papered over a lot of cracks, but the moment he left, the Glazers took the front seat, and we've seen a consistent, downgrade of Manchester United over the years. And Gasant, what really surprised me today, I was in Checkers, and the soccer balls that they have there, usually when we were growing up, it was always Manchester United balls. And they've got Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool balls. Manchester United is not the topic for the youngsters. So, Gasant, your thoughts on the Glazers and the way this football club has been run over the last 10 years since Sir Alex Ferguson is retired?
Yeah, look, as you correctly allude, Sir Alex Ferguson papered over a lot of the cracks. And if I remember our last title, can I remember? It's such a long time ago, 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That team had no business being as successful as they were. They were a pretty ordinary team if you consider some of the galacticos we've got since and some of the players who've gone before. And that just talks to the man's player management and his strategic acuteness to win a Premier League like that in a very gutsy way. But again, that success covered up some of the very bad things happening. So essentially, these guys bought the club using loans. They never put any of their own money into it. And that is a big thing because we've heard about the training complex being in a state, the stadiums in a state, and my concern is that over the last few years, football hasn't been the main focus. Money has been, and sponsorships. And so if you stop worrying about making top four and winning trophies, and you prize making money as your priority, then it creates problems. Now, we had it the other way around when things were going good and David Gill was the CEO, because football came first with Fergie, and the football brought the success. But like you say, the footballs are missing now, the soccer balls from Checkers. And that's perhaps an indictment of how far down the ladder we've fallen as the kind of super club of the early 2000s and the early 2010s, definitely the 90s.
Yeah,
we've kind of fallen down the ladder, to newer clubs. City, there was a City trophy tour, a Premier League trophy tour in Cape Town over the last week.
Okay.
I was invited to the British consulate to kind of rub shoulders with some of the City folk. I was busy because I had to wash my hair that evening, unfortunately.
I love that, washing your hair. I mean, that's amazing. What
That's
a,
one.
I mean, obviously that would keep you away from a city tour,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Makes sense.
Yeah, look, I didn't want to be, I was really busy, to be fair, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to be, what do they say, churlish about it, because it is quite a big thing for our city, for Cape Town. And also, we're working with the British Council with some of the projects I'm working on in development football, but I really couldn't make it. But the point I'm trying to make is there was a trophy kind of exhibition at the local Total Sport and Puma because of the Manchester City sponsorship, and there were a lot of City fans coming out. And if I think about it, the only City fan I really know who's been there from the days they were relegated, going right through the 80s and the 90s, is Vincent Barnes, the former South African fast bowling coach.
It's
Oh,
true, eh?
brilliant. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So
Wow.
knowledge, I mean, something new
Vincent
for me.
Van.
It's amazing to see. And again, I think that's a big indictment on the club and the owners, because the newer generation are struggling to find a relationship with Manchester United, which wasn't the case through the 90s, the noughties, and even the early, 2010s, etc. But nowadays, all youngsters growing up, unless it's my daughter who I'm really, instilling Manchester United culture in, it's, they choosing to support the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester City. Hassan, just before we get into your top 11, there's a player that I really loved at Manchester United, and I thought he'll break through this season, and that was Jimmy Garner, so James Garner. And from all of the youngsters that were coming through, I thought he would have a bright future at Manchester United. But he was the only one who had some value assigned to him. And because the Glazers went all out spending, bringing in Casemiro, Anthony, etc., they needed to find some money to cover, I would say, or to offset some of the costs. I think that's a massive loss to Manchester United. Your thoughts on James Garner?
Yeah, he's one of those players, that you wanted him to do well and come through the ranks, especially in a position that we haven't been really good at over the last few years, which is the defensive midfielder or the pivot role.
Mhm.
So there's other players also like Zidane Iqbal,
Brilliant.
Charlie Savage. We know Garnacho is a top prospect for us, and Palestri as well, and Ilanga. But with a kind of pressure on managers, you make one slip up and you go on a bad run, and the pressure for you to play established players becomes more and more real. Where with Fergie in the early 90s, when he had the class of 92, he was able to field almost a team full of youngsters with Gary Neville and your Beckhams and that kind of era. And there was less pressure because Fergie had done all the hard yards in previous seasons and he was rebuilding. And I remember somebody saying, one of the commentators at the time saying, you don't win anything with kids.
Helen
And boy,
Hampton.
was that comment.
We actually spoke about it
Yeah.
last night, yeah.
So I mean, boy, was he wrong about that. But the thing about it is, Fergie was, again, he was established, he was astute, and he really brought to life the one of the mottos of Manchester United: youth and courage.
Yep.
So yeah, one doesn't like to see a player like Garner go. He did very well at Nottingham Forest and helped them get promoted. And yeah, I mean, I always want these players to do well, at other clubs, not against us, but against the rest of the team. So
I mean, always
he's going to be
almost
a
came back
really,
to bite us, right? With the last minute
yeah,
shot, which they pulled out.
exactly, exactly. But you want the lad to do well.
No, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
He's homegrown Manchester United, and yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Some players are going to miss out, but not too many. We don't want to lose them and then have to buy them back
Buy
for
them back
100 million
at a
pounds,
premium.
Cassandra,
like a
I'm,
Pogba.
like a Pogba, Paul Pogba. Just a quick one also, and before we get into your all-time 11, I can't wait for that. Just comparing the two clubs, the Arsenal and Manchester United, and you guys know that we also went through the the Kroenke out phase, and that's when Kroenke gave the majority decisions to his son Josh Kroenke, and they got in Edu as a technical director in 2019. 2016 was just an operational manager. So they got him in 2019, really embodied the club identity. He was part of that invincible team and really striding on and taking huge leaps because he understands what's happening in the club and the club identity. What's your take on Arsenal's superb start to the season?
I think it's the result of a few years of investment, and they've been getting better over the last few seasons. You can see the confidence of the players that have been brought in. They know their roles, they know the style of play, they trust the manager. And the manager, of course, is not the kind of manager who's going to sit back for anybody and feel intimidated. You can go up against Pep, for example, and compete, and they've got the kind of players. They play very pretty football. Arsenal, they're a joy to watch at the moment. Obviously, there's a few things in the setup that I'm not entirely convinced about that they can go all the way. But who knows if they go on a run, and they've beaten some big sides along the way. This could be their season. I
mean,
it could shake things up quite nicely.
Yeah. I mean, Abdul always says, Arsenal are one defeat away from a disaster,
And it's true, because against Leeds United, we were now watching in anticipation because Leeds were just coming at us all the time. But it was that great performance that really got us over the line, which champions, I mean, it's needed for a championship team, So, yeah.
But I mean, it's brilliant. So I think with that, I think that's a nice segue now to get into Gasant's all-time Manchester United 11.
So Gasant, Ibrahim and Gasant, before we start, Gasant, I don't know if you saw previous videos, but this is our black book. And we love introducing our black book. And the black book, with our pen, I'll be writing down. I get very excited, right? So you're going to see me smile and jump and stuff. So I can't wait. Ibrahim, please take us in. Let's go.
Brilliant. And Gasant, I mean, your all-time 11, it can be from any era. Doesn't need to be the popular picks if it isn't. If it is, it's fine as well. But it's about who you grew up watching football, who you enjoyed seeing on the pitch. And we normally go for a standard 4-4-2 formation, as a standard. But do you want to mix that up a bit based on the players that you have, or is a 4-4-2 okay?
No, I can go with the 4-4-2. That's fine. I actually think it will suit. It allows me to be more dynamic in my choices here.
So we start with the back. Sorry, you were saying something?
With my goalkeeper.
Yeah. So we'll start off at the back. And I mean, the usual pick we've seen so far from all United fans, it's the Great Dane. But I mean, we leave the floor open to you, and maybe you can just elaborate a little bit why you've gone for that particular pick. Yeah.
Okay. So my 11, I have to preface. I started supporting Manchester United in 1988. I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And I was influenced by Desiree Ellis's brother, Basir Ellis. We're from the same community, Salt River, Woodstock. And he was a big influence on me. She's also a Manchester United fan.
Yep. Awesome.
And when I started watching, we weren't doing that well. It was still
the early stages of Ferguson.
And Fergie just came in and he was almost fired. So here we go. This is a tough one, guys. So a goal in my goalkeeper, it's between Van der Sar, who's technically brilliant.
Yeah.
And Schmeichel. I'm gonna have to go for Schmeichel for sentimental reasons. There were times when Schmeichel wasn't at his best, but for a character that's larger than life, you want that in your goals. Somebody that inspires defense. Okay. He worked, inspires confidence. He also worked on his game. He wasn't very good at ball distribution, but in his prime, he was one of the best goalkeepers, especially throwing balls, which make breaks for players.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. And you know what? Is that your as a goalkeeper, Gasant, that's a power. If you can have that in your armory, I mean, when you going from your transition from defense to attack, it's a humdinger pass. You know, it's just through
We
the
see
air and
Alison
you just
Becker. We see
yeah.
Alison Becker doing it regularly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fergie, Schmeichel was ahead of his time in that space. You know?
100%.
Okay.
I think he modernized that role of a modern keeper back in the day, right? In the late 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant pick. And I think, I was expecting one of those two. So glad that you went with the Great Dane. We normally then go into our center backs, and we normally do them as a pairing, right? Because I always believe that your center back partnership is really important, and you need that balance between that aggressiveness and also that calm and composure in the back. Something that Vidic and Ferdinand brought through, Bruce and Pallister brought through. So that centre back partnership, we're going to do them as a double. So who's your partnership that and it doesn't need to be in the same era. It could be defenders from different eras. Yeah.
So Fergie and Fergie did this particularly well when he built teams, title-winning teams. He started with his back two, his centre-back pairing. We had Pallister and Bruce. We had Vidic and Ferdinand. And I think those four names kind of stand out. There were others. There was the Wes Browns. There was the Johnny Evans. They were kind of like more down the picking order.
Yeah.
But I'd have to go with a very interesting pairing. And you named them. It's Rio and Vidic. And I'll tell you why.
Really?
So Vidic is that kind of classic Martinez style player. He fears nothing and no one. If he's going to get his head smashed, then that's okay, And he's a ball winner who's very incredibly brave, but chips in with a few goals here and there. Ferdinand is the ball-playing centre-back that Harry Maguire thinks he is. He was Ferdinand was the complete centre-back in that sense, in creating opportunities as well through the transition.
Yeah.
He wasn't defensively, he wasn't as good as Vidic, but together they made a superb team.
They complemented each other well.
Yeah, they did.
And I think they could go down.
Bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop. And I think they could go down, as not only a Manchester United, not only as a Manchester United best defensive partnership, but I think they could go down as the Premier League's best, all-time best defensive partnership, because I think they were so immense, and the amount of titles that they won together was amazing. And I don't think no other defensive partnership had done that so far. Okay, brilliant. I mean, no surprises yet. I think your team is looking very similar to mine. I mean, I went for Stam in one of the positions.
Stam did cross my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was there for a small stint, so I agree with Vidic and Ferdinand. Right back, I think, is a little bit straightforward. So we're going to leave right back for the next pick. We're now going to go into the left back option. And again, I think United have had some great left backs over the years, and it'll be interesting to see what's your choice from the left.
Okay, without a doubt, my choice is Patrice Evra. I remember this guy's debut. It was shaky.
Shocking.
I thought, no way, it's not this guy, But he really repaid Fergie's faith in him. I think he's a standout player if you think of the Manchester United teams over the years. So I'm going to go with him. There have been others, of course. I remember when I first started supporting Manchester United, Dennis Irwin. Was he left back?
Yeah.
At left back?
Yeah, left back and right back. You could play. He was quite flexible. Yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, my right back's going to be Dennis Irwin. He also gives you that free kick option, Dennis Irwin. But in terms of crossing and the modern game, these guys would just slot in. And defensively, they're incredible players as well. Pacey, they've got the right attitude, their game awareness. They're quite formidable. I mean, that back four is looking very tasty to me.
It's looking amazing. I think they could go toe to toe against any forward line. And I think Haaland against that back four would struggle to get the goals that he's getting in So we've got your back
Yeah.
four sorted out. I think that's an amazing.
Are we
amazing.
locking in Dennis?
We're
Dennis
locking.
Owen.
We're locking
Yes.
in Dennis
Good
Owen
one.
as right
Dennis
back.
Owen, yeah.
So then, I mean, now that we've spoken about Owen, you know that wing back and right midfield partnership is really important, and I think the wing back and the left midfield is also important. So now that we're there, who would be your right and left midfield in this Manchester United team? Again, spoiled for choices, and I'm not gonna bring it up. I want you to surprise us here, yeah.
I mean, the guy's just, you can't leave him out of any Manchester United team. There are so many players I want to stack in here. It's unbelievable.
It's tough, eh?
I'm going with on right midfield. I'm going with Cristiano.
Okay.
CR7. On the left side, I'm going to go with, and I have to think carefully here why I'm saying this. Okay, let's go to the center. Let's go to the center.
Okay, we give you time. So we've got Cristiano, and I suppose you're talking about 2008 Cristiano, right?
Prime
Bombing
Cristiano,
down
who was
the-
running.
Prime Cristiano
Formidable.
Ronaldo.
Who was running
bombing down
at,
the right. The trickery. And you know, Anthony reminds me a little bit about a young Cristiano Ronaldo, not the prime Cristiano, but the young Cristiano who came in, liked a lot of tricks and was quick on his feet. Anthony reminds me a little bit of him, and I'm hoping he can develop into that sort of a player. So your center midfield.
2008 was just sublime for this guy.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I mean, in that Manchester United team, he surpassed Messi, right? That was the first time that he put Messi to the Ballon d'Or, and that started that rivalry between him and Messi. And it was at Manchester United, not at Real Madrid. So it was amazing. Your center midfield partnership. So we'll give you time to think about your left midfield. But again, just like your center back partnership, your center midfield partnership is really important. So who would you see coming into that position?
Okay, so in the center, I'm gonna have David Beckham. And sorry, not David Beckham. In the center of midfield, I'm gonna have Paul Scholes and Roy Keane.
Oh, yes.
You made him rhymes. Roy Keane, the mayor of Manchester.
The mayor of Manchester.
Yeah. Roy Keane, for me, leadership personified. The guy just wore his heart on his sleeve. He was there for his teammates. And look, all this guy wanted to do was to win, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all you want from a captain.
No, 100%. And I think the thing with Roy Keane, and you see it now as well, is that he's defending his ex-players. So in the media, Cristiano Ronaldo's come out for a lot of slack recently, but Roy Keane has been one of his massive supporters in the media, trying to defend him and speak him up quite a bit. So a leader back in the day, a leader still today, and if you hear all of the ex-players talking about Roy Keane, it's justified that he's in. And I mean, Paul Scholes speaks himself, right? I think any Manchester United.
I'll play around with Gasant, your left midfield. I wrote the player down, so let's see if I get it right. Okay. So
this is a weird decision for me, and the fact that I think Beckham and Cristiano are interchangeable. So I want to put Beckham there on that left midfield. And only because the way the modern game is played, that players cut in and they cross and they shoot from the left onto their right feet, you know? So I'm putting David Beckham there because I can't leave him out.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, so Gasant.
But there's so many.
David Beckham.
There's so many other players.
Written down.
Yeah.
I've got David Beckham written down. We know class when we see it. I love David Beckham.
But you know what? I'm not even mentioning your Bobby Charltons, your George Best, your I mean, there's so many amazing players over there. Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Another gem of a
player. To cut in. Oh my God.
But for non-footballing reasons, I don't want to pick him.
Okay, makes sense.
Given what's happening, I'm an activist as well, you know. So that's my cop out.
No, but it makes sense and aligned with that.
Yeah,
And
my
then your
strike
striking
pairing.
partnership. So I mean, if you struggle with your midfield, I'm going to see you struggling to find the two players up front to lead your attack. Because again, and I think this is the thing, right? The current Manchester United team, you'll find difficult to find a top 11, right? But if you look at through the generations, it's difficult to find one team to fit on a team sheet. So
It's
I
so
don't want to
hard.
be you, Gasant, and yeah.
I'm
So
just basing it on favorite players. So just I would, instead of playing them as a pairing, I'll play one as a fake 9. I mean,
okay.
as a 10. Sorry, as a 10 and a 9. So like this, rather than next to each other. In the
Okay.
4-4-2 formation.
Yeah.
So as my 10, I would have King Eric Cantona.
Oh,
One of
yes.
my all-time, one of my.
Wow, Cantona.
I mean, just for Hassan, I'm going to turn my back to the camera for a second. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, we can. Oh,
I can,
no, you can. Up
I
again.
can see.
Okay, but you could see it. You could see it.
Yeah.
Eric Cantona.
Okay,
Wow.
but what I did in honor of Eric, I just popped the
Oh,
collar.
nice.
I mean, imagine playing this guy as a 10.
Oof,
Just having him roving and
amazing.
creating all kinds of magic, assists,
Baba boom.
goals,
Baba boom.
the flair, I'm like, you need one crazy player in every starting 11 and he's your guy.
Oh,
Exactly.
brilliant.
And I think he was the start of that era, that the dominance. He was Mr. Manchester United. Alex Ferguson, or Sir Alex, gave him the opportunity to express himself, and that gave confidence to all of the youngsters around him. If you hear the documentaries, you hear the likes of David Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, all of them talk about Cantona and the influence he had on them. It's amazing. So brilliant pick. So who would Cantona be playing and supporting up front?
Okay, right up front, my number 9 is going to be not Wayne Rooney, although it's very difficult to keep him out of any starting 11 for Manchester United.
All-time top goal scorer.
I mean, we know Cole and York. I mean, one of my personal favorite players is Juan Mata.
Ooh,
He's just the kind of. I mean, I just love the guy's footballing brain, but he doesn't make my favorite 11. But because this is my favorite 11, I'm going to go for a striker that scores a lot of goals, filthy goals. Not pretty to watch always, but he certainly knows how to find the back of the net. And that's Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Oh, what
yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, scoring ugly goals is what it's all about, and he's that guy. He doesn't miss many. I mean, I can think of a few others like Teddy Sheringham. Solskjaer himself was quite lethal. We had that other guy, Michael Owen, which we didn't talk about too much.
I don't think Dylan
But even him
will be too happy to hear Michael Owen's name.
Yeah. But also, I mean, just remember we had we had what's the guy's name now? Another
Robin van
Dutch
Persie.
player.
Robin
van Persie. What a player,
Exactly.
So you guys, this is really unfair. But that's my top 11. That's
that's a brilliant 11.
Oh,
and Hassan, there's not one player in your team that I could actually fight you on to say that they don't deserve to be in the top 11.
Sure.
But a team like this obviously needs a really powerful character to coach them. And I could already write the name down, but I need you to tell us who would coach your all-time Manchester United 11.
There's only one guy for the job, and that's Fergie. I mean, for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Lives, breathes Manchester United. Brought a sea change to what was happening. Obviously, the only other manager that could rival Fergie was Matt Busby. What he achieved with amateurs through a tragedy, was incredible. It's written in the history.
Exactly.
But Fergie certainly eclipsed even that.
100%.
To go on to greater things. Yeah. So I mean, I think if you'd ask this of any team in Europe or elsewhere, you'd be in that top 5 list.
100% agree.
Gasant, this was
amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Let's go through it quickly again, right? So we got the Great Dane in the polls. Peter Schmeichel, our number 1. Our 2 centre-back pairing, Rio Ferdinand, Emmanuel Vidic. Right back, Gary Neville. Left back, Dennis Irwin.
No. Patrice
Left back,
Everett,
left back,
Patrice
Patrice
Everett.
Evra.
Oh, but this every yes. I said the Vava Boom. Why did I get it wrong? And
Yeah.
Owen is going to go right.
Owen on
Correct.
the right.
Owen right, Patrice on the left. Why did I get that wrong? So
Yeah.
Patrice Evra. So you have with Patrice Evra and Kentena, you have completed the Vava Boom.
The French
The
connection.
French connection, right? We've got Scholes and Keane in the center. What a center midfielder pairing. Ronaldo, the GOAT, on the right. On the left, we have David Beckham. The king himself, Eric Cantona, is your number 10, and your number 9, none other than Ruud van Nistelrooy. And to
What a
cap it
team.
off, Sir Alex Ferguson, the son, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. What a team.
Hassan, this
What
is
a
an
team.
amazing team. And I think this team in today's era would be dominating
Oh,
the
yes.
league and
Oh,
would
yes.
be up there, going for title after title. And I don't think even Pep or heavy metal football, Mr. Jurgen Klopp himself, would be able to stop this team because Ferguson in his prime with these players, I think is unstoppable. Brilliant team. Thank you,
Yeah.
Hassan.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, appreciate it. And to all our fans, we are going to be back with another segment with Hassan. And here we're going to be talking more around grassroots football and football development, especially in girls football. So looking forward to that segment. Hassan, thank you so much for your time. Love the top 11 and speak to you soon.
And Hassan, just quickly before you go, you're going to end this with us, right? So on 3, we're going to all go gunning to Old Trafford. Are you ready, Hassan? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. And we are
Gunning to Old Trafford.
Gunning to Old Trafford.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Well done. See you soon.